in some cases I haven't been able to nail it down to 5, or haven't been able to pick 5, if that makes sense. So with the books, I think we're going to start with, we've got 4, music-wise, CD-wise. I think I've got 5. Is it 5 or 6? And then movies, we've got 5 that I've picked as my top 5 for this moment. And then I've got some others that were up there as well. But I mean, there's loads. I could list off loads of movies that I love. I think it's just the time and my mood of which ones are higher in that list, if that makes sense. But first off, I am going to light a candle. Now this candle is called Warm Apple Pie, I believe. I got it a couple of days ago. I haven't even lit it yet, but it smells fantastic. I thought, oh, I hope you can't hear that boiler, that's quite loud. Sorry. I thought it smelled really nice, and I thought it was kind of Christmassy, so we're going to light this, and then I'm going to put it on this wooden, I suppose you can call it coaster, that my friend made for me. She's a ranger, and she cut a slither off for me, and I've got a few of these, so I put candles on them, so that's what I'm going to do. And that's going to go down here, and I hope I don't set light to anything. It's kind of an eerie glow, isn't it? Right, so let's start with the books. I haven't really, the top 5 is just my top 5. I haven't really put number 1, number 2, number 3. But I suppose you can kind of do it in that order. So let's start with an absolute great, so this is an autobiography, and I love it. I think it's one of the best books I've ever read. I've read it, I've listened to it 8, 9, maybe 10 times as an audiobook, and the great man himself, Matthew McConaughey, reads it as well. Now, everyone knows of Matthew McConaughey, knows his great voice. I mean, he's just a legend, I think. But his life experiences, his way of thinking, and his life itself is just brilliant. The book has got some great quotes, great life lessons, and I think it's just a really great book to read, especially if you like the guy, if you know him and like him. Definitely worth it. I'll read the blurb for you. It says, a Renaissance man on the big screen, McConaughey shows he is on the same page, mystical and spiritual, but mostly just wonderful. Green lights, the book. It is an inspired memoir that celebrates the idea that it's the journey rather than the destination that will fulfill us. And that's Michael Connelly that said that. So that's not the blurb at all. It's a quote from Michael Connelly after he read the book. Now, Michael Connelly is a person that has read this book, and I can't quite picture say a singer or a Michael Connolly actor. I'm not sure. Sorry. But anyway, this book, Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, is brilliant. That's my number one. That is number one, and I know that. The second book we have here is by a pretty famous author, I'd say, and it's one of many, but it's the first in this series, and it's the DaVinci Code by Dan Brown. Now this, I think, is fantastic. It's so clever. It's just brilliant, and I would also put the movie up there as well, but this book goes into way more detail than the movie does. It's so captivating. It kept me entertained right from page one, and I read this before I watched the film, and I thought this was brilliant. And then I was excited to watch the film, and I was slightly disappointed just because I read this, but as a movie in general, I think it's brilliant. Yeah, this book is great. There's lots of codes, lots of puzzles that Professor Langdon is the main character in this series, has to solve, and Langdon himself, the character, is brilliant as well. Dan Brown portrays him across really well. I just think it's a brilliant book. So yeah, that's definitely a number two for me. I've read this a couple times as well, and every time it doesn't change. It's great. Even though I know what's going to happen, it's great. This sort of got me interested in codes and like playfair ciphers, stuff like that. So yeah, it's really interesting. The next one is quite a famous author, more known for his television than his writing, but he's done a few books now and he's getting up there. So this is the Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Now this is a great concept. Basically, it's a small little village, and there is a care home, an elderly care home, and the residents within that home solve the crimes of the area, and all the characters are really great. You get to know them as such during the series. I think there's 4 of these now. This is Thursday Murder Club. Then you've got The Bullet That Missed, but that's not the next one. The Man Who Died Twice. And there's another one as well. I have it in the next room. I should have brought it, but anyway, this is the first one, and it's great. I think it's really brilliant. The last I heard, they were making a film of this as well. I don't know, when you read the book, you picture the characters in your head, and then they start to bring out the film, and they said they're going to make the film with XYZ actors and actresses, and the actors weren't how I pictured them, so I was a bit, okay, but that's not to say it won't be a great film when and if it does come out. But the book is brilliant. The next couple of books as well are brilliant, but this is definitely the best one. I think it's really good. Definitely worth a read. It's like a funny murder mystery. So these books are books I read when I was a kid, when I was a lot younger. fantastic, and I think because of like the memories of reading them, that's why they're still up there in my top 5. I say them. There's 2, but I'm only putting 1 in it. So this is by, as you may have seen, Harry Hill. Now I don't know if you know who Harry Hill is, but he's a comedian, actor, sort of, not really an actor, just a comedian I guess. And he's, excuse my French, but he's batshit crazy. He's really funny, he's completely loopy, and all his comedy sketches are just crazy. He has a couple of TV programmes, Harry Hill's TV Burp, and You've Been Framed. You've Been Framed was a popular one, where people send videos in, and you get 250 quid, but it's just funny 30-second videos, and he does a little commentary and puts them in the programme, and it's something you can have on in the background while you're cooking or while you're doing something, and yeah, it's a funny programme. I haven't seen it in years. I think they even took it off the telly, as far as I'm aware, whether it's true or not, but I heard that people weren't watching it because you have Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all that, so the You've Been Framed was put off the telly or something. I don't know, I haven't looked into it, and that might be rubbish. But anyway, this book is called Tim the Tiny Horse, and that is Tim the Tiny Horse just there, and he is a tiny horse, and this book goes through his story of him living his life, I guess. It's just open to a random page. He lives in a tic-tac box. Sorry, he lives in a matchbox with an old tic-tac box as a conservatory. There's him. He's tiny. It's just a really silly. He's having a fight with a fly here because they were fighting over a hula hoop. It's just a brilliant book, and I've read it again multiple times. In fact, that's Harry Hill. You may recognise him, but the cover of Tim is jumping over Harry's head. Solid. So that's the first one, and then you've got the second one, which is Tim the Tiny Horse at Large, because obviously the first one was such a great hit, he made a second, and it's still really good and really funny, but it's not quite the first one. Again, there's Tim and his fly friend. It's good. It's a good book. They're just funny. And so the fifth in that category, the book category as such, is I couldn't really think. Well, I could think of a couple, but I don't have them physically with me, so I didn't really know which one to pick. So I found this, and this is a good book. It's called The Good Book. Now, just even by the first page, if I open it up here, you can tell it's a good book. Here's the first page. Yeah, so straight away you can see that it's just a good book. Definitely a good one to have on your bookshelf if you have a bookshelf, or just to carry around in your bag at all. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. So now I think we move on to the music. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna have a glass of wine as well. So cheers, guys. Just between. Oh, fresh. So moving onto music, and it's more the bands or artists than the CD/records I have here, but still, it's good to talk about. So, I'm gonna start with. Sorry about that. Someone rang the doorbell. So, anyway, we were just moving on to music. So I am going to start with this one. Now, this isn't necessarily number one, but it is still definitely up there, and 100% worth a listen, and checking out their channel if you haven't already. So this is Not Supposed to Be Here by Mr. Matty Tingles, or Matty as he is known in the music world. Now, Matty Tingles is a massive artist in ASMR. He's got some great videos out there, again, absolutely brilliant ASMR artist. He done music, sort of how he started his career, which was like 8 years ago, and then he became a YouTuber and starting his ASMR channel. He has done other things since as well. I think he's got, I know he's got a podcast channel where it's just Matty. He's done really well for himself. He's got a wicked house, a wicked car. He's got one of those cyber trucks. He's American. I don't know why those two link together, but he is a cyber truck, therefore he's American. No, he is American, but he has a cyber truck. And he's done a couple of videos with the Cybertruck, and it's like a spaceship, man. Like, those things are crazy. Anyway, the CD, he then remade. He didn't remake at all. He made a CD, this one, not so long ago, and I think it took off like a storm for as far as he said, and I love it. I mean, this is like a rap. He's a rapper. Rap isn't my thing at all. I can't say that I'm a big rap fan, but 2 of these top 5 are rap CDs, so there you go. But this is brilliant. I really loved his other music as well, which he sort of subtly dropped on us a couple of years ago. Like, oh, by the way, I used to do music, here's my CDs, and they were great, I loved them. And then he made this, and like I say, it's a really good songs, really hard-hitting songs as well. And, I mean, if you want to hear more about that CD, I'd go to Matty's channel. He's got a couple of videos about it. He even made a vlog of the whole last year of him filming this CD, and him writing it, and etc. And it's really good, really worth a watch. Anyway, enough about Matty, even though he deserves all the love. He's a big guy. Go check him out, honestly. Really, really worth it. Moving on. So the next one, I'd do, again, this isn't really in top 5 order, but it's the top 5. I'll go to the other rapper. I've got 2 versions of this CD. Oh, that's what dropped on the floor. So this is Little Sims. Maybe you have to see it clearer there. The album is called Grey Area, but I like a lot of Sims's songs. She was actually the one that did Venom in the movie Venom. So the reason I love Simsy is because of a festival, the one and only festival that I have been to, that I got into by mistake. No intention of going to the festival. I'm not a festival goer, but I did end up getting in a festival one day somehow. And I saw Little Sims, and she was on stage, and she was great. And she, out of the middle of her act, she disappeared off the stage and appeared in the audience there, right next to me. And that was amazing. That's the closest I've probably ever been to a celebrity. And she was singing and rapping, and it was brilliant. I was really enjoying it. Granted, I was a couple of drinks down, so I tried to video the moment she was next to me, and I had a flip case, you know, the ones like this, but not as big, obviously. And I just folded the back of the case round in front of the camera and stood there with my phone like that. So I've got a good 3-4 minute video of the inside of my phone case. It's just a black screen, and there's about 20 seconds where you can see Little Sims next to me, so I'll take that as a win. But from then on, I've loved her and her music, and think she's a really great artist. So yeah, Little Sims, go check her out as well. So the next one is, I haven't got a CD, but I've got a book with her face on it. So I'm just gonna mention her and tell you about what music I love from her. Now, she's an absolute superstar, and I'm sure that many of you out there love her as well. But it's obviously Tay-Tay. I mean, she's an absolute superstar. My favourite album of Taylor's is her very first one. I think it's called Taylor Swift as well. And it's the country one that she done. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think the only part I was disappointed with the Eras tour was that she didn't do a whole section dedicated to that album, but we got to hear our song, which is the best one out of the lot anyway, so I'll take that. But yeah, I love a lot of her albums, loads of her songs. The recent stuff, I have to admit, I haven't got into as much, but I still listen to them, I still sing along, and I still think she's great. So, Tay-Tay. Moving on from there, I will bring this one into the mix, which is, it says Swing the Mood, but the song I'm referring to is In the Mood. So this is Glenn Miller, who is a jazz performer. Many moons ago, I've seen if there's a date on here, and there is not. But yeah, it's just a really great jazz song. And all of these, I mean, this is a small vinyl I have, and I've listened to this loads of times. Just to perk you up, get you in a good mood. Yeah, check it out. I mean, why not? Glenn Miller, In the Mood. You probably have heard of it if you listen to it. But another reason why I love this is because in the local garden centre or plant centre, when I was a kid, I used to go with my nan and my grandpa, and they used to have a machine that was doing like, I want to say teasers, but not teasers, like a preview of the music on the CD, and this was one of them. And every time I knew exactly which one it was, and I'd go up to it and I'd press it, and this was when I was like 3. I still remember it. My memory's not good. Now U2 is obviously the band I want to talk about here. My favourite album of theirs is probably the Joshua Tree. I think it's got some great songs on. I think U2 themselves are absolutely brilliant. Now looking at this funky cover, I'm going to assume that is Bono, the lead singer. Yeah, they've just got great songs. I think this is, again, my dad that got me into U2. Yeah, so big thanks to him. I don't know. I just really like U2. And then following on from that, we have UB40. Again, another vinyl here. Now this album is the Labour of Love. 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 There's some really good songs on here. I mean, again, I love all of their albums. This is another one of my dad's favourites that he's got me into. I think that UB40 are fantastic. I've seen them live a couple of times actually. Absolutely excellent, absolutely excellent. Now I think that's 5, but I've got to mention this person because, I mean, he's known as the king for a reason. Mr. Elvis Presley. I mean, I think I've got one of his CDs. It's just a mix of all his great songs, and there's like 30 songs on each side. So it's a solid 60 songs, and every single one I could probably sing all the lyrics to because he's just an absolute legend. I want to start watching his movies because I haven't really seen any, which is so bad considering I call myself an Elvis fan. But yeah, Elvis himself is an absolute legend. So here's to him. Wow, now that brings us on to movies. Now, I can definitely name, I could probably, I'll put the top 4 as the order that's correct. So my number 1, let's go and show you. My number 1, probably quite a controversial opinion, but it's La La Land. La La Land. La La Land. This movie is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. I've seen it so many times. It's unbelievable. Although, the first time I watched it, I didn't like it. I got to the end and thought, what's going on? Now, if you've seen the movie, you may understand what I mean. But after probably the second, third time I watched it, I realised that the meaning that it's putting across is fantastic, and live by it really. It's a great meaning from the movie. It's a great movie. There's a lot of jazz songs in it, which again I may have picked up. I quite like jazz, and I also love Mr. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone obviously, but Ryan Gosling, I think he's brilliant in it. watch it Friday, Saturday. Maybe have a break on Sunday. And then start again Monday. It's a great film. And again, it's childhood for me. Let's have a drink. Now, the third film, movie / production is another musical. Now, I don't have the physical copy of this, but I do have this big old book, Hamilton. Produced by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who, may I just say, is another superstar. So underrated for all of his work. Moana, especially. I mean, what a film. And looking forward to Moana too, by the way. But besides the point, this is a book about Alexander Hamilton himself. But I do somewhere have another book of the production and how Lin sort of came up with it and what he was going for each lyric, sort of where it came from, etc, etc. But I think it's just such a fantastic way of putting across the history, because it's, granted, as an Englishman, to really love this American legend, I guess, is probably frowned upon, but who cares, because it's brilliant, definitely worth a watch. Now, this is my number 4, and again, this is childhood. This is absolutely fantastic. This is the Jungle Book. Now, if you've never seen the Jungle Book, watch it. This one. Watch this one. Don't watch the other one. This is the best one. Loads of good songs in here too. I mean, if anything, you're getting great song recommendations out of this. Now, I felt like I should be hurrying up a little bit. So, my 5th, and sort of capping off the top 5. Well, not really, because this is the Fast and Furious. I wish I could fan them out as well, but I can't. The Fast and Furious collection. I love them all, from number 1 through to the latest ones, especially the Hobbs and Shaw versions. One of my heroes is that fella right there, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I think he's brilliant, brilliant actor, brilliant inspirational, inspirator. Thank you, thanks very much. Inspirator. That's not even a word, is it? I think he's really inspirational. In everything he does, and his tequila is fucking movies I love. A lot of people started to go off the movies as they started as like car movies. Lots of cars, really nice cars, engines, etc. And then it went a bit daft. And I will also say that the current Fast and Furious movies are super duper far-fetched. Like, that's like movie shit, but they're movies, so deal with it. So yeah, that's my top 5. Like top 4 and a collection. And then I got these couple. I'm just gonna list them all. I'm not gonna speak about them. I could probably add a hell of a lot more to this list as well, but Thunderbirds are go, absolute classic, big part of my childhood as well. From dusk till dawn. If you haven't seen it, watch it, because your mind will be blown. It's bonkers. Great film. These two sort of go together, well, kind of. So you have Predator, Alien, and Alien versus Predator. But I don't have an Alien movie, so. But I love all of those movies as individuals, as them together. Fantastic Four. Now, have you seen the new Deadpool and Wolverine? Brought back a little spark of memory there. Guardians of the Galaxy. Amazing. He is amazing. Vin Diesel's amazing. Batista's amazing. That guy's amazing. And so is Gamora. I can't remember who plays her. I'm going to assume it's Zoe Salander. And Bradley Cooper. I didn't know Bradley Cooper was Rocket. Anyway, Rocket's great. I am Groot. Oh, wow, these movies. This is number 2, but number 1 as well. National Treasure. Nicolas Cage. What a guy. The movies are fantastic. Again, another like puzzle solving movie based on American history, but still incredible. Hercules, because I love him, but I love the story of Hercules anyway, but this just makes it fantastic. Django Unchained, because of Jamie Foxx. Again, this isn't because of that actor, but the movies are great too. The Scorpion King, because of Dwayne. The Bodyguard, good movie. Sorry. And Kung Fu Panda. Now, there is a hell of a lot more movies I could list off, but I'm gonna shut up now. I'll leave it there. I'll have another sip of wine with you, and then wrap up this video. So, thank you guys for watching, if you did listen and got this far. If not, that's fair enough, because I've just been chatting bananas again. Let me know what you think. Let me know any improvements I could make, because again, I feel like I'm sighing a lot and breathing quite heavily.